In this lovely top picture, we are told some values. Let's say B to D is 4, and we know that A to D is x minus 6, and we even know that C to D is x. What would that length of C to D be? Keep in mind that our triangle ABC is actually a right triangle itself. So ABC is a right triangle. So we can use the Pythagorean theorem on the very large triangle ABC, as well as the two small triangles with this right there. Now, my general recommendation would be just use Pythagorean theorem to fill in as many details as possible. So for this tiny triangle over here on the left-hand side, we know x minus 6 squared plus the 4 squared equals this mystery squared. So why don't we call this W? So notice it could be any letter, I just picked W. So foiling this first piece, we have x squared minus 12x. If we FOIL it all out, you'll see that. And then plus 36 plus 4 squared equals W squared. Simplifying a little bit, x squared minus 12x plus 52 equals W squared. In other words, W equals the positive version of the square root x squared minus 12x plus 52. Now let's clear up a little bit of space here. Why don't we try this medium triangle on the right hand side? So WX, let's do Y. So here we know 4 squared plus x squared equals y squared, or 16 plus x squared equals y squared, or y is the positive square root of 16 plus x squared. X squared plus 16, same thing. Finally, on the largest triangle, we now know that W squared plus y squared is going to equal our total length 2x minus 6. There's one x, a second x, and then minus 6. 2x minus 6 squared, which if we FOILed it all out would be 4x squared minus 24x plus 36. So on the right hand side, we have 2x squared, we have minus 12x, and plus 68. So it looks like we're getting close to solving for x. Let's move everything to the right hand side. So I'll say 0 equals, we have 4x squared minus 2x. We have negative 24x plus 12x, so that's a negative 12x. And we have 36 minus 68, which is minus 32. Now, luckily, 2, 12, and 32 could all be divided by 2, as can 0. So we'll get that, And how about, what, a 16? So 0 equals x squared minus 6x minus 16. Now perhaps we can even FOIL that, or factor it. So let's do x squared minus 6x minus 16 and open up a set of parentheses loaded in the fronts with x's. The signs will need to be different, so we'll do a plus and a minus, and they'll multiply to 16 while subtracting the 6. 1 times 16, 2 times 8, 3, nope, 4 times 4, and we circle back. So what is going to subtract to 6? 2 and 8. So a negative 6, we'll load it with a heavy negative 8 and positive 2. Now the funny thing here is that means x could be the positive value 8, or x would be the negative value of 2. Wait a second. So x should be a physical length. X should be a positive value, not a negative 2. So x will be positive 8, making choice C correct. Now we'll definitely need to clear up some room here. In our bottom problem, Kirsty is testing values that would make this triangle a right triangle when ln is an altitude and we have the bottom as 16. So which lengths would make this a right triangle? Well, Pythagorean theorem. For choice A, LM with 13 squared plus something else squared equals 16 squared. So 169 and 256. Is that going to work out? Our mystery squared would need to be the difference. So 87, which doesn't exactly have a nice square root. Would that be possible if we're dealing with choice A of 13 on LM and KN being 6? If we call this height perhaps h, say a height of h, on the left hand side we'd have 6 squared plus h squared equals 87. On the right hand side we would have 10 instead of 16 or 6, we'd have 10. We'd have 10 squared plus h squared equals 13 squared. So h squared equals 69 on this right hand side, but on the left hand side h squared is 87 minus 36, which would be 51. So, 51 is not the same as 69. Choice A fails. Now let's clear up some room here. What about choice B? So LM would be 12. So 12 squared plus something squared would equal the bottom 16 squared. So that's going to look like 144 plus something squared equals 256. Or our mystery squared equals 256 minus 144, also known as 112, which doesn't exactly have a nice square root. So square root of 112. Now also we know that NM is 9. Would that work out? Keep in mind, to make the full 16, we would have 9 plus 7. So if we call that height h still, is it true that we'd have 7 squared plus h squared equals 112? In other words, h squared is 112 minus 49, so 63. And instead of on the left-hand side, now on the right-hand side, would 9 squared plus h squared equal 12 squared? So 81 equals 144. 81 plus h squared equals 144. Let's do that subtraction. H squared is 144 minus 81, which is indeed 63. So we both got 63 left and right, and so choice B is our winner.